Hello everybody, it's Final Rich here. I'm going to do something I haven't done in a year and a half. I went back and looked, and it's actually been a year and a half since I made my last vinyl collection video, and that was a Black Flag video that went on for like 40 minutes. This one won't go on that long. Cusqueña to you. Beer from Peru. I didn't really know what Cusqueña meant. I asked my wife. She didn't really know. And a guy that used to make videos, Fishman, I guess his father was from Peru, and I guess it's a certain area of Peru. I do have a little tickle in my throat, so if I don't cough too much, I'll upload this. If I cough too much, I won't upload it. But that's what I got this for, to just wet the tickle there a little. Anyways, I recently watched a video, or I became aware of a channel called Dark Ride Films. I'll leave a link. It's a really good channel. They have one video I watched was their 5 favorite singers. I might have known 2 of them. So I'm not familiar with a lot of the stuff they show, but they did a review of the Black Flag Damaged album. They have some really good videos, interview videos with past members of Misfits and stuff like that. But there was one video where they did a review of the 45 Grave album. And that's an album I was really not happy with when it came out. I didn't think it was as good as the stuff that was recorded earlier, and I always kind of dismissed it. So after that review, I re-listened to it, and it's a lot better album than it's not the same as the early stuff, but it's a good album. And I listened to their later album, Autopsy, and I really like that one a lot more than I remember liking it. But anyways, the first record I'm going to show here is a Darker Scratcher. And they have a song on here which is a remake from the like 64 or something. It's riboflavin flavored, non-carbonated, polyunsaturated blood. And it's one of the weaker songs on this album. I mean, it's not a bad song, but it's one of the weaker songs on this album, quite frankly. But there are some bands. This is on the LAFMS record label, which was Los Angeles Free Music Society. And there were some great bands on this. I recommend bands like Human Hands, Bee People, Dennis Duck. Alex Gibson was on this label. There's this band here, Non. I saw them in concert at Al's Bar, and it was just noise. I mean, it was ear-piercing industrial noise. And I think their objective was to stop playing. They were going to keep playing until everybody left the space where they were playing at. At least that's what happened. When the last person left that space, the show was over. I didn't last to the end. I went to the room where the bar was, and I was kind of like keeping an eye. It was ridiculously, ear-piercingly loud. But anyways, this came out in 1980, and it has the very first song that was released by 45 Grave. 45 Grave started in 1979. I guess I should talk about the band a little bit. Started in 1979. It's got 3 members that came from the Phoenix punk scene. Paul Cutler, who was from the Controllers. It's got Don Bowles, who was in the Exterminators. Don Bowles later on went to be a member of the Germs. And when he joined 45 Grave and Vox Pop after the Germs broke up, or Darby died. Paul Cutler was in the Consumers, and I'm not sure after that. Rob Graves or Rob Ritter, he was in the Bags preceding this. He also was on the first 2 Gun Club albums. But and then you had Dinah Cancer, who's the vocalist. She was in the Castration Squad. So it was kind of a superstar lineup of early LA punksters. And that album came with this insert here to become a member. Yeah, please include me on their mailing list. Pretty cool. And the actual album is on black vinyl, and that's what the label looks like. Like I said, they formed in '79. Their first song was released in 1980. They initially broke up in '85. I think they reformed again from like '88 to '90. I saw them. I don't know if I actually saw them in '81. I think I did. Definitely in '82, I saw them a few times in that period. I saw them again, I believe it was in '83 at the Olympic Auditorium, one of those giant punk shows that they used to have. They were the opening band. I believe Black Flag, Husker Du were on the bill. And they didn't really fit that giant venue that well. And then I did see them again later. I'm thinking '89, could have been '90, and that was probably my least favorite time of seeing them. It wasn't the same as the early '80s. And even Dinah Cancer, her voice was kind of screechy. But anyways, in '81, this compilation came out, Hell Comes to Your House. And 45 Grave has 3 songs on this. And this is probably the first that I had ever heard of them. It's got Evil, Concerned Citizen, and 45 Grave. Concerned Citizen was an old Consumers song. These 3 songs are fantastic, and I don't know if they ever really recorded anything better than this. And then after those 3 songs, it's followed by a Christian Death song, Dogs, and Super Heroines have a couple of songs on the side. This is a fantastic comp, one of my favorites. And it came with this insert with lyrics and whatnot. No, it's just the lyrics. Very cool. Social Distortion's on here. Red Cross. Band called The Conservatives. And the labels are like this. One side's yellow and one side is red. And they also had a single that came out in '81. I don't remember. I think the single might have came out a little bit before, but they came out pretty close, similar time. And this has Black Cross on side 1, and it has Wax on side 2. 2 very cool songs. Not as good as Hell Comes to Your House, though. But yeah, this is a pretty cool single. And this is what that label looks like. It's got the information on this side. And on this side, it has like a skull with the brain exposed. That single and the comp came out in '81. And that's when they were in their peak, '81, '82. I saw them several times before this album came out. This came out in 1983. It's 45 Grave, Sleep in Safety. I didn't care for the production of this. It was a little more polished than the previous stuff, and the keyboards were a little more prevalent, and at the time I didn't like it. Listening to it now, it is quite good. And this is a band that I highly recommend. They had a lot of tempo changes in their songs. They were all great musicians. Paul Cutler is a fantastic guitar player. Don Bowles was fantastic. It was a fantastic drummer. Paul Ritter, fantastic bass player. And Dinah Cancer, I think is a great vocalist. Some people might not care for her. I remember I met a girl at Al's Bar, or a nice young lady at Al's Bar, and I asked her if she was familiar with 45 Grave. She said no. And I knew they were playing the following weekend, and I asked her, would you, like to go to the Whiskey and see them? And she was blown away. In fact, she even compared some of the songs to X. But yeah, this is a good album. A lot better than what I remember it. And I wouldn't have re-listened to this maybe for who knows how long if it wouldn't have been for Dark Ride Films. And that album, these are all OGs. It came with this little card here, which has become a grave digger, the 45 Grave Memorial Society. And it came with this other insert, has a picture of the band, and on this side it says 45 Grave Memorial Society, we love you and want you to enjoy eternity. Pretty cool. And it's on Enigma. I'll take it out, man. It's got the information on one side, and it's got a picture of a bat and a baby brat. No, it's just a picture of a bat on the other side. On that album, there's one song called Surf Bat. Surf song. That was always one of my favorites on here. And, I mean, Evil is on here. That was on 45 Grave is on here. Those two songs were both on that Hell Comes to Your House comp. I don't like these versions as much. Like I said, they kind of have keyboard and it's more polished. Partytime is on here. Now, Partytime is a song that evolved over time. It's a creepy ass song. It's about a 5-year-old girl getting kidnapped, or no, getting tortured and raped by her mother and I guess her mother's friends. And it's, do you want to party? And I think I have 4 different versions of this song, so I will mention that song again. But yeah, this is Procession. That's a great song. It's a really good album. Phantoms is another good song. And that leads me into this next 12-inch, which is Phantoms on side A, Sleep in Safety and La Tumba on side B. Now, I'm pretty sure this is a different version of Phantoms, if I remember right. I did not listen to this. I mean, I have listened to it, but it's been a while. But if I remember right, I believe this is a different version. And this came out in '83 also. Same year as the album. And a very cool 12-inch. And again, it is on Enigma. And I'll just show. It's got the regular Enigma label. Now, there's another 12-inch here. Came out in 1984. And it's School's Out. 45 Grave did a cover of the Alice Cooper song, School's Out. And it's got Partytime on the back. It's a different version than what was on the album. It's a little more rocky, but it's still got the creepy lyrics. Really good 12-inch. 1 song per side. And I don't know if it's too dark, but you can kind of see the image the band had. They had this ghoulish image, and I think it kept them away, a lot of people away. I don't know why. People love horror movies, but when it comes to music, man, they get frightened off. But this is a really accessible band, and I think a lot of people would actually like them if they gave them a chance. And this is what the labels look like. Again on Enigma. And that came out in 84. This soundtrack, this movie came out in 85, I believe. 84. So this is 84 again. And they have a song on here. It's actually the second song on side 1. The Cramps, Surfin' Dead is the first song. Second song is 45 Grave, Partytime, the zombie version. And they changed the lyrics on this, and it's a much more, it's not so creepy. I mean, the lyrics on the original, man, they're just downright horrible. And this is a great movie. And I believe this is on Enigma. Yeah, this is on Enigma too. The album cover on that's a little worn, but the vinyl is in great shape. I bought that used. I did buy this one new. It's a reissue. It just came out. I don't know. It says limited to 500 copies. I wanted a new copy of that. And it's on Real Gone Music. And it's on glow-in-the-dark vinyl, which is pretty cool. I remember I had an album that was shipped. I believe it was through Amazon or eBay. I don't remember exactly. And it was damaged. And the guy gave me, I think he refunded me like $25. I think I paid $35 for this album. I was kind of pissed that it was damaged. It was, actually the record wasn't, the cover was. It was just a seam, a split on the top. And he actually refunded me $25 out of the $35. And with that $25, I just bought this album. Now, the last 45 Grave album came out in 1987. I think right before they reformed again in 88. And I just assumed it was new recordings. I bought it and I listened to it. It's probably only been played like 3 or 4 times. And I always assumed it was, you know, new recordings. And I didn't really pay it much mind. Then my friend Chris, who I met probably in the mid to late 80s, he was really into goth. He was telling me, no, this is their early stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. And I just re-listened to this one. And this is a great album, man. Recorded in 1979, 1980. If I overlooked this album when I did my 100 best punk albums, this definitely should be on there. This is fantastic. It's got a lot of the Controller songs. And the Controllers I did put on that list. But these are better versions. And they kind of redid them to fit Dinah Cancer's voice, a female voice. But yeah, this is a really good album. Like I said, I highly recommend 45 Grave. Don't let the imagery scare you away. And it's on Restless Records, actually. And that's it for 45 Grave. I'm going to start doing these maybe once every other month. My original plan was I would do like an obscure artist, kind of like 45 Grave. Then I would do a more popular artist. The last band I did was Black Flag. So my intentions was for my next one to be Morrissey, my Morrissey records. But I just haven't been in the mood. I haven't felt like listening to Morrissey. So, and I don't want to make the video, and you know, I haven't listened to these records in donkey's years. But yeah, I plan on doing a Morrissey. I plan on doing an Alien Sex Fiend. Motley Crue would be one of my mainstream ones I plan on doing. Satan's Cheerleaders. Misfits. I plan on doing a Misfits. In fact, I'm pretty much ready to do them all. But I think the Morrissey one will be the next one, just for Headley. Another great channel. Another fat bearded man talking about records. Anyways, take care, everybody. I just did a series of what the fuck videos. I kind of got a kick out of those, and check them out. They're fun, and I'm gonna do my first Final Finds video later this week. So take care. guys and gals. Or guys and ghouls. No. Ghouls and gals or whatever.